of advice from our sides. Shit may not be the best motherfucking advice, but hey, I'm just saying.
We still figure it out.
I'm still trying to figure it out too. Hey, I'm a young father of two boys. Again, he got 3 girls. So you're getting double whammy right now because you got boys, you're hearing my side of it, and on top of that, I'm Hispanic. So hey, there's certain things that I take from my culture and I implement it in my kids, and him too. I'm just saying, but he got girls. So again, like me. Because I had Malachi when I was 21. I was young. Still wet behind the ears. Fresh wet behind the ears. But the thing is, I had a little bit of experience because I'm the oldest of 5 boys. You know, I was 13. I was designated freaking babysitter. So I was watching my 4 younger brothers, you know, cooking for them, all that. So it's like, I don't know for you, because you're the baby. But I don't know for you, like when Malachi was born, like, I don't know every fucking thing, but I had a feeling of like, okay, I know how I want to be with my boy, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, in the beginning it was rough because, you know, so all my, you know, my young parents out there, I feel like it will be a lot smooth sailing if y'all have these discussions before the baby's born on how y'all want to raise a kid, because
it does help.
Again, my wife, she was brought up a certain way, and I was brought up the opposite. So there was a lot of clashing. Like, she didn't appreciate certain things I was doing with them, and she basically was kind of against it. Like, for example, like the spanking. Hey, some parents, hey, it's a little taboo at this point, but hey, I ain't gonna spare the rod. I'm sorry. And again, it's not like that's my first resort. Like, oh, yo, I'm about to hit my kid. Like, I'm about to spank my kid.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
I use that shit as a last resort. I tell people like this: every child has a reset button. You just need to find it. You know what I'm saying? When they be wilding out, you just gotta reset them real quick. That's what I do. I reset my kids real quick, and then they back to normal. You know, they act a little faulty. So I'm just saying.
I mean, you just saw Virginia losing her freaking mind. I just had to give her a hug, and then she good.
See, that's
back out there, baby.
That's her reset
button, baby.
See, Malik's reset button is like a little. Like, hey, wake your ass up, boy. You need to chill out.
Get it together.
Yeah,
Get it back. Get it back.
But yeah, man. All I'm saying is like, because the way society and the way the world's going and everything is like technology based now. So it's like, shit. My son is in 2nd grade. His daughter's in 1st, I believe.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Right. And they got individual tablets. They get in computer time. You know, and they have to be. Technological literate when it comes to it. So it's kind of like, it's kind of dangerous to basically give a young child an electronic, a tablet or a phone. And a lot of time, these young parents, they're, you know, propping their kids in front of the TV, and basically the cocomelon is raising their kid at that point.
Yeah, it'd be like that.
Or giving them they're giving them the phone, so basically to shut them up because they're.
No.
You know, they're wilding out. Honestly, I'm kind of against that because it takes away from the stimulations of the baby's brain. You got to be interactive with your kids. You got to read to them. You got to talk to them.
You got to be in front of them, man.
Yeah, regardless of not, you may not get, you know, back and forth with your baby, but they understand. They still know. You know, they understand what's going on. They may not understand you completely, but hey. I'm telling you, my son just turned 5 on Monday. I forgot about that. Yeah, shenanigans. Yeah. I'll talk about that at the end because that was, oh my goodness. But yeah, you talk to my freshly 5-year-old. He don't talk like a 5-year-old. He talk like a grown ass teenager. Like
yeah. Like, I mean, he having real conversations right now.
I have a full blown conversation with my 5-year-old. Like. And he's not even in kindergarten yet. I'm just saying. And it's because I implemented at a very young age, they were not getting tablets. They're not getting no phones. They're not watching that much TV. They're going to play with their toys. They're going to read books. Okay? I'm a very, advocate on children reading at a very young age. Because I remember when I was growing up as a kid, all I wanted to do was play video games. You know, I didn't want to read. I read here and there, but you know, I played video games majority of the time. I was in front of the TV. My 7-year-old,
I feel that.
My kids have a whole fucking library in their room, like a whole shit ton of books in different levels. So once they hit a certain stage, I swap them out and give them harder stuff to challenge them. Shoot, it's working. Like my son, he's above average when it comes to reading. He's only supposed to be reading 98 words in a minute. He's reading over 160. Like,
yeah, no.
and
didn't you say he just did?
He just got through the month. He just got
yeah.
You know, shout out to my Malachi. I'm just saying.
Yeah, my man.
Like,
my
I'm
man
proud
did
of him. Yeah, I'm proud of him.
That's really good.
Because he's reading.
Really good.
He reads to his youngest brother. He reads to him, you know, and I implement tablet time. Now, they get a certain amount of hours on the tablet a day. Because at the end of the day, they're still kids. They need to, you know, figure out how to work it.
I mean, that's how it is nowadays.
Yeah, but after that, I cut them off. They can watch a little bit of TV, and they're playing with their toys. Shoot, Malik is 5. He'll get tablet time, and he'll put it back on a charger. Be like, I'm done. I don't want to play no more. And play with his dinosaur toys.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying. So it's like, you got to be involved with your kids, man. Like, honestly, you got to put those positive... You got to implement those positive things in their brains at a very young age, because right now their brains are like sponges. They absorb everything.
Everything that you're doing. Everything that you're doing. No matter what you're doing, they're watching and they're absorbing it. I mean, that's pretty much what they tell you. I've always heard, like, my grandmother would be like, kids are like parrots. Like, anything you say, they're just going to repeat
they're going to say it back. Yeah,
they're going to say it right back.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah, so I know for us doing the whole kid thing, man, but I had Marilyn when I was 23, I believe. Yeah, 23. Yeah, because she's about to be 7. Yeah, okay, yeah. I was 23, turned 24 right after. Okay, so yeah. So I had her, and I'll keep it a buck. I'll keep it 100,000. You ask anybody in my family, I was not a kid person. I was the baby, and I wasn't around younger kids at all. So I was never good with children, ever. Like, usually when people had kids and stuff, they'd be like, oh, you want to hold them?
Yeah,
I don't do that. I mean, you could ask now, even now, I don't hold babies.
Other people's babies. Yeah.
I'm just not that good. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about other babies. Little babies. Yes. So I'm not really good with other children like that. So when we found out, you know, I just wasn't really prepared for it at all. And that was it was tough. Like, doing the whole trying to figure out what I wanted to do with her. And then, of course, we had a girl, which completely threw me for a loop, because in my family, we didn't have girls. All we had was boys. Like, you know, I have a sister, but I wasn't raised with her. And then she had 5 boys on her own. My brother had a boy. My other brother had 2 boys. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. My mom never had a girl. So we didn't know what was going on. So that was just all brand new to me. And it was confusing. It was a confusing time. And then you're absolutely right with the whole talking to your spouse about how you want to raise these kids. And I kind of had to come up with a plan.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I had girls, and, you know, I kind of figure out, you know, I'm a black man. I'm pretty sure I can raise another black man. But I didn't really know what I wanted from my black women children. Like, what am I getting? What do I do? And, you know, and then, of course, okay, well, I know we're not watching nothing right now. I'm talking. But, with them being black and them being Hispanic, you know, I was kind of like, you know, well, what do I do? Like, how do I raise Hispanic women? You know what I mean? Like, that was another thing, you know. And it's like, I had to talk to my wife. I remember my wife wasn't raised Hispanic. She was raised, she was adopted, so she was raised a little differently. The blood is there. Trust, the blood is there. Oh, yeah, but, you know, you can't get rid of that. But the rest of it is it's not there. So we kind of had to realize what we wanted to do. So my whole thing was, I talked to her and was like, well, what I want for my kids is for them to be ladylike. That's what you've heard me say it. That's what I believe in, is my kids being ladylike. So I instilled in, I know, stop, don't point that in my face. I've instilled in them to be a woman first, above all else. So, you know, them sitting the right way, or being extremely polite and respectful and speaking a certain way, and stuff like that. That's kind of what that's the game plan we went with, was like, you know, yeah, they black, yeah, they're Hispanic, they know their dad can flip out when they need to. So see this one, they got the attitude in there, but at the end of the day, it's all about them being very respectful and stuff like that. Like, you know, like, you've taken care of my kids when I wasn't around and stuff like that.
They're
my kids are very respectful. They are well behaved because they know what it is. Like, you know, I make them that way, and don't put that in my face, child. But you know, we kind of, it's kind of the game plan. You know, we had to come up with a game plan. My wife was a baby as well. Like, you know, she was the youngest, so but she was good with kids. You know, she you know, you seen her. She loved kids. She wanted to be holding babies and stuff like that. But at this point, I think with them leaving the baby stage, you know, the infant, now coming into the toddler stage or the young kid stage, that's where I'm living life right now, because you know, I can actually teach them things that they can absorb and keep in their head, and like, you know, like, get them to that point. Like this one, you know, she's still a baby, but like Marilyn, you know, I'm talking to Marilyn on some real stuff. I'm giving her real life conversations and stuff like that, of how to act and how to be. Like, she'd be like, "Oh yeah, kid was mean to me today," and I was like, "Well, do you want to be around people like that?" She was like, "No." And I was like, "Exactly. We don't be around people that aren't good, that aren't well behaved, that don't have good hearts. Those type of kids, you don't want to be around them. That's not the people you want to associate with. You're better than that. So be around people that are better than that." And she understands that. She know the game. That's how it is. And I think that's kind of what we've developed over time. So I wasn't ready. I was not ready at all at 23. I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
I was ready, but like.
But you kind of had a idea.
Yeah, because again, I came from a big family. I mean, Myra came from a big family too, but she was the fourth one out of 6. So it's like by the time her mom's had her, it was a whole different type of ball game. I'm not saying you know, like the way she was brought up was similar to the way I was brought up. It was
different.
Yeah, it was different. Everybody's upbringing is different in a sense. You know, you have your similarities here and there, but they're different.
And you were from a family of all boys, and then you had boys. So it's kind of like, you know, you kind of was like, I'm in the groove, you know what I mean? Yeah.
So it's like, for example, like, I implemented in my kids' very young age. You know, mommy's the only woman in this house. Treat her with the respect that she deserves. You go in that bathroom, you better put that toilet seat down. You know what I'm saying? Have respect for your mother. Have respect, because she's the queen of the house. That's how I implemented it for them. You know what I'm saying?
That makes sense.
And it's funny. It's funny. Like, we'll have people come over to the crib and they won't put the toilet seat down. And Malachi, real quick, he'll go in the bathroom. He's like, "Excuse me, you didn't put the toilet seat down." Mommy's
that's probably why they be coming in after me and stuff, seeing if I did and stuff.
Yeah,
I live with girls. I put the toilet seat down.
Mommy's the only girl in the house. You need to put that toilet seat down so she doesn't fall in the toilet. You know,
that's funny.
But yeah, on top of that, like, we go out, and I get comments all the time about the kids, like, "Oh, they're so behaved, they're so respectful, they're so well mannered." Like, Myra was looking at a Jurassic Park toy, and it had a gyrosphere, and she said, "You know, this ball thing in it," and Malachi was like, "No, that's not a ball thing, that's a gyrosphere." Like, corrected her. And the Walmart employee was like, "Look, I'm not trying to budge him, but he is so smart. He is so smart."
He's like, "Whoa. Get it right."
Terminology. He was the right terminology. You know, he surprises me every day. And, you know, it's cool when you have kids, because, you know, granted, like, again, I don't have any daughters, and I do not envy you. Do not envy you at all. But with my boys, you know, Malachi is getting to that stage and in his age that some of the likes that I have, he likes.
Yeah.
Like, for example, he likes Sonic. Little did he know that his dad was a big Sonic head when he was a kid.
Little did he know.
Yeah, so he got the Sonic game on his tablet, and he be playing it from time to time. And I'm like, oh, where? I have that game too. And he's like, and he's real quick like, oh, look what I got. And he's like, what did you get? So it's like, that's how we bond in a sense. And I told Myra too, because her whole thing was like, oh, I don't want them watching you play video games, because I don't want them to be like that. And I told her, I'm like, they're not touching a controller until he's 10. I want him to have an imagination. Let him play with his toys. Let him read. I don't want him playing. I know what it does.
You can't stop it. That's what
you can't.
Want.
But
I can't stop it.
But I try to, like, I told him, I'm like, you're a little too young right now to be playing these games, because I give him.
You want to get down?
I'll give him a controller.
Okay. Go ahead,
to play the game, and he'll get frustrated because he don't know how to move. And I'm like, see, this is why you do not play, because you're still a little too young. When you get a little bit older, I have those conversations with him, and he understands. So like now, he's learning how to do certain things, and it's cool to see. And that's how we bond in a sense. So it's like and
it's
again,
all about that.
And I'm real big on expressing how you feel. I don't want to suppress my children's, how they feel, how their feelings, their emotions.
That's something you got to do with boys, man.
Yeah, because
it's something you really got to do with boys.
Yeah, because that's the big problem in America right now. As men, we don't talk about how we feel. We don't talk about our emotions because it's frowned upon. Yeah. In a sense, like, ain't nobody give a fuck about you. Like, you're a man. Fucking suck it the fuck up and keep it pushing.
Get it right. Get it right.
Get it right. Get it tight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But because shit, I'm gonna be honest. Freaking Myra, when I first got with Myra, she was like, "Yo, you're mad emotional," because she wasn't used to it. Because I was the first guy she's been with that expressed how they felt.
Yeah. Put it out there.
Because I was taught that as a kid. Like, hey, you got a problem, we finna talk about this shit. We ain't gonna keep shit inside until you blow up like a bomb. So I try to tell her, like, I'm trying to.
It will happen.
It will happen from time to time. I ain't gonna lie. But I'm trying to implement that in my kids now. Like, I'm trying to still understand them because, hey, Malachi and Malik, completely yin and yang. Straight up. Malachi calm, collective. He'll have his moments. But Malik, damn. Boy,
it's the first and second kid, bro.
Yeah, he a tyrant, bro.
That's all it is.
He is a high fucking rent. I'm like, oh my god.
Because that is Maryland and Cali to a T.
And I'm gonna say, hey,
Virginia's just.
All I'm saying is this for these young parents: do not feel bad for not liking your kid.
Bro, it's okay not to like your kids from time to time.
It's okay not to like.
It's okay, bro. Because it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. You're gonna be like, yo, I can't
love
stand
them to death, but man, there's gonna be times where you're gonna be like, I do not like you.
Stand your ass right now. Go away.
But you gotta remember, the kids are gonna change. They are going to change. They are. I promise you, they're gonna change. Within the year, they're gonna be a whole different kid. And school will definitely make you remember that these kids are gonna change because you can ask both of us as soon as our kids went to school.
Yeah, it's a whole different ballgame.
They completely changed. They are
two completely
night and day from what my daughter was when she wasn't going to school to what she is now.
Shit, my son.
And then the schools are changing her too.
Yeah,
so each school is giving her a different perspective on different things.
Yeah,
like the school at the base. On base, kids was wilding on base. She always saying kids crazy on base. Then when we went off base to the school right before we moved into this house, it wasn't none of that stuff. The kids were very nice and like the school was brand new and all this other crap.
Right.
We were living in a really good part of town, but the house we bought now, we ain't living. We live in the country in a little bit. So, and she's like, some of the kids are mean. And I was like, well, we out here in the country. It's gonna be like that. You know what I mean? Some kids just aren't the nicest kids in the world. And the schools are gonna change, and man, school make your kid change real quick, bro.
It does, cause shit, freaking Malachi come in and tell me something new he learned. Like, I always ask him, like, hey, what did you learn today? And the thing is like, I don't know, because again, the way they learn how to do certain things in a completely different way, and it's just weird. Like, he's doing math, he's doing addition and subtraction with double digits. The way I know how to do it is you stack them and just do it.
Yeah. And then drop it down.
Yeah, exactly. He over here doing lines, fucking circles and shit for tens and ones. I'm like, bro, put the big number on top, put the little number on the bottom, add or subtract. You know what I'm saying? Drop that. And I had the teacher conference with his teacher, and I'm like, why are y'all teaching them like this? It's complicated as hell. Like y'all making it a lot more complicated for these kids. And then,
no, she's fine. She's fine. She wanted me to open the bottle.
And the teacher tells me like, oh no, we're doing stacking, but later on in the year. And now he's just learning how to stack, but he was already ahead of schedule because
you were doing it.
Because I was doing it with him. I'm like, bro, listen.
I'm stacking.
He's like, but we don't do that. And I'm like, listen, I don't give a fuck what y'all do in school. All right, listen. Fuck
you
that.
Can't do that. You gotta do it the way they do it because you're just gonna screw them over.
No, it's not because she told me. I'm like, I explained to her. I'm like, look, I'm not doing them sticks and I'm not doing them circles. I'm teaching them how to stack them. Is that going to be an issue? She's like, no, he's going to be ahead of this. He's going to be ahead of schedule. I'm like, all right, that's
it. I hear that. I ain't doing them sticks and them circles, baby.
I'm not doing them damn circles. Hey, we're going to stack these motherfucking numbers together. We're going to add or subtract. Simple as that. But yeah, man, it's okay.
Nah, it's okay.
Yeah,
it's okay.
And again, do not feel guilty. There's another thing too. Do not feel guilty for taking time for yourself. Everybody needs some me time.
I mean, we've talked about that multiple times. Gotta get you some of you.
Yeah, you need to get you some.
If you ain't got no you, bro, listen. Yeah, it's gonna drive you up the wall, bro.
Yes, it is.
It's gonna drive you up the wall. So you
gotta take your breaks when you can get them. And for my young fathers out there with boys, all right, do not, because I'm guilty of this. I feel a certain type of way about my spouse because the way. It's completely different for you, but the way with boys, the boys are a lot more affectionate to their mothers, their mama's boys, and they kind of like get in the way of it, and you see how your significant other is, treating your son, and you're like, damn, I want some of that, like that feels good, and you ain't getting that. I'm just saying, and don't take it out on the kid, because, hey, I was there, I did it, because there's a lot of times when I was young, I always say, like, when I was young, oh, I'm not going to be like my parents. I'm not going to be like my parents. Fuck all that. Foot in my mouth. Just saying. Foot in the fucking mouth. It's going to happen from time to time. Your parents are going to come out when it comes to these fucking kids. I'm just saying. It's going to happen. But you got to check yourself. You got to G-check yourself. Some of the stuff that your parents, taught you, or, the way you were brought up, the way you was raised, wasn't all bad. Take the good, go with the good, eliminate the bad, and put your little own flavor into it. It's like a recipe in a sense with cooking. Yeah. You can follow the recipe to the T and get the dish, or you can remix it, add your little flavor into it. You know what I'm saying? Your little signature.
Change the game up a little bit.
You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that, because at the end of the day, like, my parents tell me all the time, like, hey, like the way you raising Malachi and Malik is like, it's fantastic. These motherfuckers over here playing library. Like, what 5 and 7-year-old boys gonna be in their room playing library? Like, Malachi is the librarian, and Malik over here checking out books, and Malachi's reading books to him.
Yeah, kid's crazy, man.
Like, and on top of that, the gender fluent toys, because you go to Dollar Tree, a lot of the kitchen, like the play set kitchen stuff, is majority of the time in the what section? In the girl section. So Malachi and Malik, they wanted, kitchen toys, play kitchen set. And Myra on her own was like, nah, I'm not buying that. And then when I went to Dollar Tree with them, they were asking about it. And I was like, yeah, go ahead, go get it. And Myra's like, you're okay with them getting it? I'm like, yeah, what's the problem? She's like, yeah, but the knife is pink and it's like, it's a little girly in a sense. I'm like, at the end of the day, it ain't a fucking Barbie. It's a kitchen playset. I told her, I'm like,
they want to cook and shit. Let
them cook. Like, you gotta understand, they see daddy in the kitchen
doing that shit. Yeah,
every motherfucking day.
Yeah,
you know how many times Malik tells me, "Oh, I want to be a chef just like you." You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like he wanna learn, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I feel it. I mean, it's the same stuff with us. Like, I went. I think it was her mom that was kind of acting all weird because they had like a bunch of Hot Wheels, and I was like, why can't they have some Hot Wheels? Just some cars. Like, what kind of only boys can play with cars? Like, that would make no sense. Like, let them play with the stuff. Like, oh, like, yeah, cool, the kitchen stuff. I mean, girl, dad, that's the type of stuff that they get anyway. But it's like, yeah, they want to play some cars, let them do that. They had a little Hot Wheel little thing, do the little loop-de-loop. I had that shit when I was a kid. Let them go out there and be somebody.
Exactly.
But, it is a different animal for me. Because
you got girls.
And then also the way I was brought up too, like, I wasn't brought up with the whole, like, talk about your emotion shit like that. Like, I told you before, like, my parents split the first time when I was, like, 15. And, that was a rough time. Like, I can admit to it now. Of course, back then, I had to act like that didn't affect me. But back then, it was really bad. My dad was down bad, and it was tough. It was really tough. And then my mom came back, and we kind of patched it up. And it was a light patch because by the time I got into the military, they were gone again. So, and I never talked about it. Ever. Me and my dad laughed it off. That was my reprieve. Like, that was my my coping thing. We just laughed it. We laughed it all off, bro. Like, I remember we were going through some shit, and like, I guess my mom, when she left, she took all the towels in the house. And me and my dad was like, the fuck? we can't even dry our ass. And like, and like, think about it back, at the moment, it's kind of sad, but at the same time, it was funny as fuck. Like, we just laughed it off, and that's kind of how, nigga, I'm shake it off. You know what I'm saying? I had to go to Dollar Tree, get some towels. Yeah. And, but, shit like that. So growing up, I just never really talked about it. And then when I had Maryland, right? And I'm still fresh off, still understanding being with somebody, because I wasn't with nobody before, and then trying to express myself. Maria, my wife, she know the deal. I did not express myself. I didn't show no fucking emotion. I ain't cry for shit. I ain't cry at my wedding. I ain't cry at my children's birth.
Damn.
Nope. You ain't getting nothing from me. I'm just stoic as it. Nope. I laughed. I laughed. Yeah, so it was kind of, it was a hard thing for me to get used to. And I remember for a couple months when we had Marilyn, she didn't smile. It was weird. She didn't smile at all. And we couldn't understand why. Like, we just didn't get it. Like, why was she so just stoic? Like, I mean, didn't matter what you did to her. She just looked at you in your face and was like, I got nothing. And I couldn't understand why. And I was talking to my therapist at the time, and I mentioned it. And she literally looked at me and was like, it's you. And I was like, the fuck? Like, what kind of disrespectful shit is that? And she was like, no, it's you. Like, you don't smile. And I was like, I do smile. She was like, no, you don't. You don't smile. Like, I bet when you're changing her, when you're feeding her, when you're doing all this other stuff, and she's right there at your face, I bet you're not smiling. And I was like,
damn.
And I think about it, and I'm like, damn. Like, and it was true. Like, I'm just staring at her. Like, when I'm feeding her at night and shit, I'm just, or if I'm changing her, there's no smiles in this. I'm not playing with her. I'm not, all up in the face. I'm not doing none of that because I just didn't know. I didn't know how. So I had to literally change my entire outlook of myself to help my children develop. Oh, here comes one of them. What's the problem? What happened?